4:35 p.m. on a beautiful Friday afternoon, October 10th, 2025. We are at the Rochelle Railroad Park, Rochelle, Illinois. We just saw an eastbound Union Pacific Railroad unit coal train coming from the Powder River Basin in Wyoming, headed to a Wisconsin electric power generating plant in Wisconsin. I had General Electric diesel electric AC drive locomotives on the head end, and a General Electric AC drive diesel electric DPU bringing up the rear distributed power unit. And we saw a westbound Union Pacific Railroad Intermodal, probably heading from their, let's see here, probably heading from their Global 2 Intermodal facility at Northlake, Illinois, east of Rochelle, to the right, a little bit west of Chicago, Illinois, and probably headed to Long Beach, Port of Long Beach, or Los Angeles, California. The railroad is the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva subdivision. Geneva is a point to the right, east of Rochelle. The railroad was originally the east-west main line of the Chicago and Northwestern Railroad. And over here is the BNSF Railway Aurora subdivision. Aurora is a point to Aurora, Illinois is to the left, and this line was originally a main line of the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad. Today it's the BNSF Railway Northern Transcon, operating between Chicago and Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. A little bit about Rochelle here. Population's 9,446. Was originally named Lane, L-A-N-E. It is 45.3 rail miles on the BNSF Railway southeast to Aurora, to the left. And it is 59.6 miles east on the Union Pacific to their proviso yard at Melrose Park, Illinois, to the right. It's known as the hub city due to the intersection of these two railroads, the BNSF Railway Aurora subdivision and the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva subdivision, and the intersection of the first transcontinental highway in America, the Lincoln Highway, running east-west, and one of the first highways to go the full north-south length of America. They are now Illinois Route 38 and Illinois 251, Route 251 respectively. This Rochelle Railroad Park is the first in America built to watch operating trains. It was dedicated August 30th, 1998. The last passenger train through Rochelle was in 1971 on the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, now the BNSF Railway Aurora subdivision. Passenger trains such as the morning and afternoon Zephyrs, Chicago, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and the Empire Builder, Chicago, St. Paul, Minneapolis, pass through here on the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, now the BNSF Railway Aurora subdivision. And Rochelle here was the home of the Whitcomb Locomotive Works. The Rochelle factory was built in 1907. It manufactured industrial locomotives and the Partin, P-A-R-T-I-N, Palmer automobile. The last locomotive was shipped on January 4th, 1952. A 25-ton diesel-electric locomotive delivered to the Central Procurement Agency of the USA Transportation Corps, number USN 65-00330. Oh my gosh, we got a third train coming on eastbound BNSF. Well, it looked like it was a solid, an eastbound BNSF Railway solid train of hoppers loaded with new ballast, stone ballast. And again, it is 4:43 p.m. Friday afternoon, October 10th, 2025. Rochelle Railroad Park, Rochelle, Illinois, on the BNSF Railway Aurora subdivision and the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva subdivision. Over and out.